As we've just sung that wonderful hymn, we recognize, don't we, that sometimes it is difficult to trust God. Sometimes it is difficult to trust God. There are times in life in this world, when it's distressing and when our faith in the Lord wavers. This morning we're continuing our series in Isaiah. We come to Isaiah chapter 26 and 27. Please have that open in front of you. The words on the screen, page 710 and 711. And as we cover these chapters, I want us to see 6 ways in which the Lord teaches us about himself and then how we can respond as a result. Our series is called This Is Our God. And so this morning I want us to see 6 different aspects of God, who he is, what he's done. And then for each of those aspects, I want us to see how that helps us to live and to wait in this beautiful but broken world. You might like to take one of these different 6 aspects each day, Monday to Saturday of this week, to reflect on further. Firstly, we have a strong city, so trust in him. The first aspect that helps us to wait in the present is that we are heading, if we follow Jesus, to a strong city, a city of safety. See how the protective walls of this city, they're not made of human construction, but they're formed of the salvation that God provides, chapter 26, verse 1. In that day, this song will be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. God makes salvation its walls and ramparts. Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nation that keeps faith. You know, it's only God that provides true and lasting safety and security. Actually, walking in God's ways are the safest place for us as human beings. It is not safe to be in a city filled with pride and self-reliance. See in verses 5 to 6 how the lofty city, the proud city, will be laid low, the proud will be humbled, and peace will come because God wins the victory over the proud and self-reliant. Verse 5, he humbles those who dwell on high. He lays the lofty city low. He levels it to the ground and casts it down to the dust. Feet trample it down, the feet of the oppressed, the footsteps of the poor. So how do you get into this strong and safe city? How do you get through the gates? Verse 2, those that keep faith, those who trust in the Lord, those made righteous by him. We have a place in this strong, safe city only because of the Lord's grace. And the citizens of this future city are able to celebrate the security they have and are kept in perfect peace as a consequence. Just look at verse 3. Isn't that a wonderful promise to hold on to? You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. From time to time, we experience something of this peace, a glimpse, even in this turbulent and troubled world and our troubled lives. We get just a glimpse occasionally. But there will come a day, just imagine this, there will come a day when we will experience this perfect peace in all its fullness. You know, the word we have, perfect peace, literally is shalom, shalom. Not just shalom, but shalom, shalom. Imagine that. Imagine walking in here this morning and knowing shalom, shalom. Wow. And even now, with all the many reasons we have to be afraid, we can face the future with peace. Peace from our God, peace, the source of perfect peace. And we're called, verse 4, to actively maintain our trust in God. Trust in the Lord forever. For the Lord himself, is the rock eternal. We can wait for life in this future city with certain hope that it will come. Eric and Claire, we know how much you loved your time in Manchester, in that city, and we know too how dearly you love the folks of City Church Manchester. And for those of you from City, we want to say thank you so much to you for your generosity in sending Eric and Claire and the family so generously to us. We hugely appreciate it. And thank you, Claire and Eric, for being willing to come. You're already being so helpful, and that is a tremendous blessing to me and to everybody else too. And Eric and Claire, we trust that in time you will come to love Nottingham as a city, perhaps almost as much as you loved Manchester, maybe even more. But even life in Nottingham is not where your hope lies, or not where hope for any of us lies, because we're looking forward to this future city of God amongst his people. So we can trust him now, even as we live lives in this city or any other city, because we're filled with hope. We have a strong city, so trust in him. And secondly, we have a promise keeper, so wait for him. Who do you look up to? Who do you admire? Who do you celebrate? Who do you want to be like? Maybe it's someone who's a famous name, or someone who has a particular skill that you'd love to have or develop. Maybe it's an influencer. Maybe it's someone from history. Maybe it's someone you work with, a colleague, or maybe it's simply someone in your family. Well, ultimately, Christians are to look up to and admire and desire God's glory more than anyone or anything else. For his name, for his renown to be known. More than our name, more than anybody else's name. Verse 7. The path of the righteous is level. You, the upright one, make the way of the righteous smooth. Yes, Lord, walking in the way of your laws, we wait for you. Your name and renown are the desires of our hearts. The path that God leads us on is his path for our lives. Smooth paths are those paths that lead to their intended destination. It's not an indication that those paths will be always easy and pleasant. Rather, that when we are walking on paths, that whilst all around us evil thrives, we can trust that God will lead us through on his path to his destination for us. And knowing that enables us to wait, but it's a kind of active waiting. It's a walking waiting, if I can put it like that. Back in Isaiah's day, in the context that he was originally prophesying into, the people of Judah had to wait for the Lord's deliverance from the Assyrian superpowers as they invaded the land, as they approached the capital city. A few generations later, they would be taken away to exile in Babylon, and they had to wait for their return. Even after that, they would have to wait centuries for the promised Messiah to be born. They were holding on to God's promises. And today, we too, as God's people, are a people who wait, waiting for God to fulfill his promises, waiting for him to fulfill his promise to send Jesus to return to the world and make all things new. And we're waiting in a world that seems blind to God, ignorant of him, willfully ignoring his instruction, as verses 10 to 11, which we won't read, but they indicate that. And then look at verse 9. Verse 9 suggests that it is the hard times. It's the hard times rather than the good times that are often the times that cause us to seek God. Can you see how that's been true in your own life? Verse 9. My soul yearns for you in the night. In the morning my spirit longs for you. When your judgments come upon the earth, the people of the world learn righteousness. We may long for altered circumstances, and the Lord may or may not grant that our circumstances change. But we can long even more for a richer and deeper experience of the Lord in those circumstances as we wait. Though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ has regarded my helpless estate and has shed his own blood for my soul. And then secondly, we have a promise keeper, so wait for him. Thirdly, we have one who accomplishes. So be at peace in him. If I asked you what your greatest achievement in life is so far, what would you say? What's your greatest achievement in life so far? Well, verse 12 has really stood out for me as I've prepared for this sermon. Lord, you established peace for us. All that we have accomplished, you have done for us. Isn't that a wonderful verse? Lord, you established peace for us. All that we have accomplished, you have done for us. Even at our best, we owe God everything. And as I've dwelt on this verse this week, I've begun to realize just how freeing this verse is. Do you begin to see the liberty that this verse brings to our lives? Just imagine how we would live. Imagine how we would work. Imagine how we would rest if we really believed this verse. If we believed in the words of Psalm 90 that it's God who establishes the work of our hands. If we really believe this, then we would be humbly confident. If we really believe this, we would be learning to let go of our personal insecurities. We'd be loosening the grip that the fear of missing out has upon us. If we really believe this verse, we would be more relaxed, and we would be willing to work hard at times. We'd be finding that performance anxiety wasn't ruling over us. We'd be willing to take wise risks. We wouldn't be ranking ourselves against others. And imagine if we really believed this verse. Imagine as we considered what we would like to achieve in the rest of our lives, however long the Lord would give us. So what would you like to achieve in the remaining years of your life, however long that might be? What would you like to achieve? Lord, you have established peace for us. All that we have accomplished, you have done for us. This is true for us as individuals, and it's true for us as a church. And for you, Eric, as you consider what you would like to achieve as a minister here in the years ahead, and may the Lord establish the work of your hands. And as we look back on our history as a church, as we look ahead to the future, it's all the Lord's. Lord, you establish peace for us. All that we have accomplished, you have done for us. Of course, our lives are not only filled with one achievement after the other, are they? There are also times of deep despair. Verse 16. Lord, they came to you in their distress. When you disciplined them, they could barely whisper a prayer. Verse 16 speaks of a distress that has laid God's people so low that they can only just barely whisper the words of a prayer to him. Have you known those times? Times when it's hard to see God's purposes. Times when it feels like there's no progress whatsoever and you can barely whisper a prayer. Well, in such times, we remember and we are helped to remember the promises of God. And we keep looking up to him. That will keep us footing secure as we walk the path that in his sovereignty he has ordained for us. In his mercy, he will sustain us on. In the times of pain that seem as though they haven't got a point to them, as the verses around indicate. We have one who accomplishes. So be at peace in him. Come to him in our distress. Because fourthly, we have a resurrection future, so hope in him. Verse 19. But your dead will live, Lord. Their bodies will rise. Let those who dwell in the dust wake up and shout for joy. Your dew is like the dew of the morning. The earth will give birth to her dead. It's fascinating, this verse contains one of the clearest references in the whole of the Old Testament to the physical, bodily resurrection of believers. For those who die in the Lord, there is life beyond despair, life beyond the dust of death, and therefore there is hope. There is a life-giving resurrection act of God to come. There's Easter Sunday morning, hope. If you were with us just after Easter this year, you might remember I was preaching on 1 Corinthians 15, and I used this image, this slide, the illustration of a seed and sunflowers. Do you remember the illustration? In this illustration, the seeds represent our present bodies in this life, in this broken world. Doesn't look like much, does it? Just a seed. I said that it's just dusty and wrinkly, but a few people got a bit offended about that. But I mean, that is the reality. And on the days when you are very much feeling the pain and the difficulty of our present bodies in this broken world, the agony of death and mourning, then look at the seed. Because this is what our bodies are like in this world. But also remember that after planting a seed, over the weeks and the months that follow, those seeds that are planted are transformed. But we have to wait. And that's the hard part. And back just after Easter, I invited us to look at that seed and to pretend that we didn't know what a sunflower looked like. Just pretend that you'd never, ever seen a sunflower. And then someone shows you a picture of a sunflower and tells you that the seed that you are holding in your hand will become that. And you look at the seed. And you look at the sunflower. And you say, no way, this transforms into that. No way. Or when our present bodies are failing us, when we're in despair, when we long for something better, when we ache, when we groan, we're to look at the seed and then look at the sunflower, because this transforms into that. And if God can do this just for seeds and sunflowers, then imagine what he can do for his precious children. We can only begin to imagine what our future bodies in the new creation will be like. And this is our future, so hope in him. On that particular Sunday, we gave everyone a packet of sunflower seeds and invited you to plant them. Thank you to everyone who sent your pictures in. It was really moving. And we planted some of those seeds in our garden. And some of the sunflowers grew really well and really tall, one even above the neighbour's garage. I was quite pleased with that one. But imagine my dismay when one was sadly blown down by a summer storm. This is what it looked like. This is what, I think it was Storm Amy did this. I was gutted. Here's what the stem of it looked like. Battered by the storm. Broken. I thought the fence would have given it enough shelter, but it didn't. Storm came, and for one of them, broken. And I assumed it was the end of that particular plant. But then imagine my surprise a few days later when I noticed that the sunflower head had raised itself from the ground and was basking in the sun. Here's the picture. It raised itself from the ground and was now turned itself towards the sun and continued to grow. And maybe you're here this morning and maybe you feel as though you have been battered by the storms. An unexpected storm in summer, perhaps. And you feel as though your stem was broken. Or just like this sunflower. God is not finished with you yet. So turn your face to him. Look to him. Bask in him. And as he causes his face to shine on you, he will give you his peace. We have a resurrection future, so hope in him. Fifthly, we covered this last week, so I'm not going to spend very long on it, but just to say that we, from verses 20 to 21, we see wrath passing by. So hide in him, verse 20. Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until his wrath has passed by. See, the Lord is coming out of his dwelling to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The earth will disclose the blood shed on it. The earth will conceal its slain no longer. The only shelter, remember, from the judgment of God is in the shelter of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And then after describing the defeat of evil, which is pictured as a serpent in the first few lines in the next chapter, we're given a song to sing about, which is a song about a fruitful vine. And these verses are actually a good reminder of our last two all-age services. Do you remember in the summer, at the end of Holiday Club, we had that big serpent, dragon-like figure, and the victory was shown by his head coming off. Then in our Harvest all-age service, the vine in Isaiah 5. Well, back in Isaiah 5, the vineyard was unfruitful despite God's best care and cultivation. But in this chapter 27, we look forward to a future day, the future vineyard that's promised. So verse 2, chapter 27. In that day, sing about a fruitful vineyard. I, the Lord, watch over it. I water it continually. I guard it day and night so that no one may harm it. I'm not angry. If only there were briars and thorns confronting me, I would march against them in battle. I would set them all on fire. Or else let them come to me for refuge. Let them make peace with me. Yes, let them make peace with me. In days to come, Jacob will take root. Israel would bud and blossom and fill all the world with fruit. Do you see, this is the vineyard of chapter 5, restored, renewed, one watered and guarded by God. A vineyard representing a people that God delights in. He's no longer angry. It's a vineyard of victory. Everything and everyone that has opposed God has been defeated. All is at peace. All is happy and reconciled. And you see how this is the exact opposite from the decreation picture that we saw last week in chapter 24. A city under the judgment of God. It's the opposite of that. This city, pictured here, this vineyard is filled with flowers and fruit. This is true human flourishing. Life here is abundant creation. See it in its context. This is a vibrant city. This is the faithful city. Colourful, vibrant. And you see, it's not merely just one geographical place, verse 6. In days to come, Jacob will take root, Israel will bud and blossom, and fill the world with fruit. Anyone from anywhere can come to God and be part of the fruit-bearing people. People who are blessed to be a blessing, the blessing of the nations filling the world. The earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. So how is this fulfilled? How do we get to that city? How do we be in that vineyard? Jesus said, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. And then down to verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You see, in Jesus Christ, we have a strong city. So trust in him. In Jesus Christ, we have a promise keeper. So we wait for him. In Jesus Christ, we have one who accomplishes. It is finished. So be at peace in him. We have a resurrection future, so hope in him. We see wrath passing by, so hide in him. And we have a fruitful vine, so remain in him. Friends, this is our God. Shalom, shalom.